Bo Bichette was supposed to become one of the biggest stars in New York. Instead, only a few months into the 2026 season, he's becoming one of the biggest disappointments in baseball. Because right now, Bo Bichette is struggling badly. Not just occasionally, not just during one rough stretch. His overall performance this season has become a real problem for the New York Mets, and the frustration around him is growing larger with every passing game. When the Mets brought Bichette to New York, expectations were enormous. This wasn't supposed to be an ordinary signing. The Mets believed they were adding one of the best pure hitters in baseball, a player capable of helping carry a championship-caliber offense. Fans expected the version of Bichette they watched dominate with the Toronto Blue Jays for years. The aggressive swing, the extra base hits, the swagger, the ability to completely take over games offensively. But so far, almost none of that version has appeared consistently in New York. Instead, Bichette has looked uncomfortable at the plate for most of the season. The timing feels completely off. He's chasing pitches outside the zone. He's falling behind in counts. And when he does make contact, it often lacks the authority fans became used to seeing during his Blue Jays years. That's what makes this slump feel different. This isn't just bad luck. At times, Bichette genuinely looks lost offensively. You can see the frustration building during games. The body language changes after strikeouts. The confidence disappears during difficult at-bats. And in New York, those struggles become magnified immediately. Because there is no hiding in that market. Every at-bat gets analyzed. Every slump becomes a headline. Every mistake gets amplified. And unfortunately for Bichette, the pressure is only growing because the Mets themselves are struggling too. The team entered the season expecting to compete for a championship. Instead, they become one of the biggest disappointments in baseball. The losses continue piling up, and fans are already becoming restless. That environment makes it even harder for struggling players to recover mentally, especially stars, especially highly paid stars, and especially players still trying to fully settle into a new organization. The boos have already started at home games. That's never a good sign this early in the season. But honestly, that's part of playing in New York. Fans expect immediate results. When a superstar struggles, patience disappears quickly. Right now, Bichette looks like a player pressing harder every game, trying to silence the criticism. And usually, that only makes things worse. The scary part for the Mets is that this isn't only affecting Bichette individually. It's hurting the entire lineup. When the Mets acquired him, they expected him to become one of the central offensive threats in the batting order. Instead, his inconsistency has created even more pressure on the rest of the offense. Pitchers aren't fearing him right now. Opposing teams are attacking him aggressively because they know he hasn't been making them pay consistently. That changes the entire dynamic of a lineup. And while there's still belief around baseball that Bichette can eventually bounce back, the numbers so far have been difficult to ignore. The production simply hasn't matched the expectations. Not even close. What's surprising is how quickly everything changed. With the Blue Jays, Bichette looked like one of the safest defensive stars in baseball for years. He consistently hit for average, drove the ball with authority, and played with visible confidence. Now he looks hesitant, almost uncomfortable. And some people around baseball are beginning to wonder if New York is simply the wrong environment for him. Not every player thrives under that level of pressure. Some players feed off it. Others slowly get consumed by it. At the moment, Bichette looks mentally exhausted trying to force himself out of the slump. That's why trade rumors are already beginning to appear around his name. Because if the Mets continue collapsing this season, major changes could happen before the trade deadline. And if the organization believes Bichette may eventually leave anyway through his opt-out clause, moving him could become a realistic conversation, especially if another team believed a change of scenery could unlock the old version of him again. And honestly, there will absolutely be teams interested. Talented hitters like Bichette rarely become available. Even during down years, organizations convince themselves they can fix players with this much offensive upside. The challenge would obviously be the contract. Bichette is earning superstar money, and only a handful of teams could realistically absorb that type of salary midseason. But talent always creates a market. especially when executives believe a player's struggles might be fixable. The biggest question now is whether Bichette can turn things around before the situation becomes even worse. Because baseball changes fast. One hot month can completely reshape narratives. One strong offensive stretch can silence criticism immediately. We've seen players look completely lost before suddenly finding their rhythm again overnight. That's why nobody around the league is fully giving up on Bo Bichette yet. The talent is still there somewhere. The swing is still dangerous when he's right. And at his peak, he remains one of the best offensive players in baseball. But right now, none of that matters much. Because right now, Bo Bichette is struggling badly. And with the Mets continuing to lose games, the pressure surrounding him is becoming impossible to ignore.